Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our leadership training videos. Now in these leadership training videos, what I do is I take you over a short period of time through some of my own personal experiences on leadership. I help you understand and explore some of the things that will provide you with more effective leadership, things that will give you more insights into what the leadership traits and skills are that you need. If you're already on a leadership journey, to understand some of the things that you could use as additional elements in your toolkit, or just give you a different point of view. Feel free to like, comment and share, and of course subscribe to the channel so you know when other videos are becoming available. I always take a topic and I give you my insights and thoughts around it. My name is Chris Igwe. I have over 35 years experience leading, training and developing teams across Europe, Middle East and Africa, but primarily in 5 major markets where I've lived and worked. My insights, of course, are my own. They're through my own personal experience, my struggles, my challenges, and how I've come out on the other side, and that's really what I want to share with you. Now, once in a while, I'll take some thoughts of some other people and blend them into my own, and that's what I'm doing today. I want to share with you about Richard Branson's philosophies, thoughts and ideas on leadership. And I'm sure you know Richard Branson from his experience and background in aviation, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Atlantic, and of course more recently flights to the moon, or space exploration, I guess I should say. Richard Branson has always been someone who's fascinated me. If you look back on some of the other individuals I've talked about, whether it's Lee Iacocca, who I did a video on, which I shared with you, he was one of the very first leaders that I really connected with. But what's the difference between Lee Iacocca and Richard Branson? Well, on the one hand, Iacocca was very outward going, very gregarious, very tough businessman, very tough leader. Richard Branson is a different form of leader. In many ways, I guess in some senses, if you are more of an introvert, more behind the scenes kind of leader, then you'll identify very much with Richard Branson, because he's not one who necessarily wanted or wants the limelight, although he is the founder, entrepreneur of Virgin as a company and all the various different derivatives of the Virgin organization. But he is someone who is essentially more private and less outgoing than the others. So let's explore what for me are the things that have been most impactful. And these are all essentially quotes from him, so I've condensed them. I haven't given you the full quotes, but the ideas are there. So the first one is, don't get stuck behind a desk. Don't get stuck behind a desk. How many of you as leaders can honestly say that you literally walk, as the old expression, the shop floor? Remember those old businesses where, especially today it exists anyway, in manufacturing, sourcing, supply, where you're actually literally on the shop floor. So you go and see what's happening, or you're in a supermarket or hypermarket and you actually come out from your ivory tower and you go and walk through the aisles and the shelves, talk to the cashiers, understand what's going on. That is a fundamental part of leadership. You must not and cannot be stuck behind a desk. When I was working on a major international project based in Switzerland, we were doing the design, so we were kind of in the ivory tower, if you like, designing a very complex, highly technical building, but it had to then go through to the production and manufacturing facility, which was all in the same premises. I had to go from here to there to be on the floor to understand what are the challenges about this cutting edge design and technology that we were building for the construction industry at the time. Hit the shop floor, because for me, for example, what that helped is we hit delays in manufacture, design, the whole process. The client was very unhappy. I had to make sure that in the production facility, I had people who understood me and were my allies and supportive, and they were, and they really helped me work through that. So don't stay stuck behind a desk, get onto the floor and understand what's going on. Another one he talks about, which I paraphrase here, is kind of the mirror experience, because he actually talks about the fact that for 10 minutes, his mother would require him to stand in front of a mirror. And the reason is because he had criticized. So this is when obviously he was younger, as he was growing up, part of his education from his mum, which I think is a great example, where you criticize people and you criticize without imagining the hurt that that can give, the damage that that can cause, especially if your criticism is rough, it's brutal, it's not rounded on the edges. And let's face it, leaders can do that. So when he criticized, his mum would require him to stand in front of a mirror for 10 minutes and just look at himself. And the image of that was essentially the criticism that's being given reflects on the individual who is criticizing. Now you may say, well, we criticize anyway. Well, yes, but then let's call it constructive criticism. I prefer to call it critiquing, which is different. If you look up those two words, criticism and critiquing, they're different. Critiquing is where you basically say, I'm not sure about this, or I think this could be said or done better, or here's what I'm hearing. There's a way of approaching it. Or if a report is being done, you don't just say that was terrible. You say, here are the good things, here is what I'd like to extract, and say, you could have done this better, or maybe you could have expressed this in a different way. Because we are there as leaders to teach, share, and show. And just criticism for the sake of criticizing is not constructive. He also says that fun is a necessary ingredient of a successful venture. And it is, isn't it? Of course, he's talking about himself as an entrepreneur. But whatever you are doing, wherever you are in business, make it fun. Make sure that people around you enjoy the experience, they enjoy the journey, they enjoy being with you. What's the point coming in every day, whether it's you or your team or your department or your company, and people are miserable? Make sure it's fun. Make sure they enjoy coming and enjoying that experience with you. So whatever your success, your venture, make sure it's successful, but you do so through creating that fun. I love this one. Very much hits my heart because I think this is what it's all about. And let's think about this for a minute. What he says is train people well and let them leave. Train people well and let them leave. That's what leadership is about. It's about training people to go on to the next level in their career and let them leave. It's okay. But if you treat people well, they won't want to leave. If you treat people well, they won't want to leave. And again, that is the fundamental element. I know lots of people, and I'm sure you do as well, who work in companies where they're attracted to leave, or they're asked to leave, or a headhunter calls, executive search, or a friend says, I'm working here, why don't you come and join? It's a great company. We all want to move on primarily for a promotion or for increased salary, or both. But what about if the place that you are is so wonderful, so amazing, so caring, so loving, that no amount of additional money or promotion and all those other things are going to make you want to leave? That is the key of creating the environment within which people will serve you in such an amazing way, because you treat them well and they don't want to leave, or they won't want to leave. I think that's very powerful. Another one that he says is show people respect, show everyone respect, not just those who you want to impress. And let's face it, we all want to impress our bosses. We want to impress our shareholders. We want to impress our clients. But it's not about that. It's about respecting everyone, from the lower levels to the higher levels, horizontally and vertically. Respect everyone, not just those you are wanting to impress or needing to impress. And finally, and again, I love this as well because I think it gives us a perspective of leadership. And it brings us into this conversation about work-life balance, which we hear so much about. But he says, I don't think of work as work. And he doesn't think of play as play. In other words, he doesn't separate the two. It's all living. It's all about living. Think about that. Yes, we all want to say, I go to the office, or this is my working environment, or whatever I do outside the house, and then this is where I go to play. Whether it's after work, curriculum, sports, art, theatre, dinner, with friends, whatever it happens to be. You sort of disassociate the two. You think there's one and there's the other. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I'm saying that if you have a different mindset around the two, you get to enjoy both. So you don't start to think, oh, well, that's work and this ends here, and oh, this is play and this ends here. It's about your life. It's about how you live your life. And the fact that, and you'd have heard this as well, if you love what you're doing so much, those of us who are entrepreneurs, for example, we have a passion for what we do, the different businesses, the different activities, the different relationships. For us, it's not work. It's just an integral part of the way in which we live and work, which is called living, as Richard Branson puts it. So all I can say is, Sir Richard, thank you so much for your insights. It's absolutely amazing. I've loved watching and following. Sir Richard Branson has made failures just as he has made successes. Again, that's what leadership is about. That's what life is about. We will fail, but you have to get up every time. And the other example, I guess, which is not a quote necessarily, but Sir Richard Branson has always lived on the edge. He's always pushed that limit. How far can I go? How far can he go? How far can the company go? Think of all these things in your leadership style. If you're going to play it safe, you're not going to grow. And if you don't grow, you can't help others to grow. So remember all these different aspects, which are wonderful insights from Sir Richard Branson through his career and his leadership. And I hope that they leave and resonate something with you to take on in your own journey. I hope this has given you insights. If it has, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, and check out the previous videos as well to see what you might have missed and what may come up. So thank you for being part of this, and I look forward to seeing you or hearing from you very soon. Thank you.